Tonight on CTV News at 6, hundreds were laid off today in the Sault.
A lot went through my head in terms of like what I want to do from here. Do I want to go back to school?
As Algoma Steel sheds jobs. Where are they and when will they be cleared?
Yeah, it could be a lot better.
Sidewalks in Sudbury are buried after last week's snowstorm. And it's Francophonie Month.
I think we're going to have fun.
Ontario's Lieutenant Governor is in Sturgeon Falls for a couple of days.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you decided to spend some time with us on this Monday. Police in Timmins are looking for a suspect in the November 5th murder of DeAndre Derine. Police have issued an arrest warrant for first-degree murder for this man, 18-year-old Deshaun Prince Wesley. Wesley's last known address was in Durham region. Derine was shot in a home on 5th Avenue and pronounced dead at the scene. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them or Crime Stoppers. Police are looking for 3 suspects connected to a fraud investigation in North Bay. Police say 3 individuals are believed to have collaborated in stealing a bank card at a retailer in the Laurentian Avenue area March 14th around 5 p.m. The card was used for an estimated $9,000 in purchases police believe to be fraudulent. Anyone with information that can help identify these suspects are asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. A 60-year-old has been charged with arson after a fire in Redbridge, northeast of North Bay, Friday. Emergency crews responded to reports of a domestic assault on North River Road around 5:30 Friday evening. Police say the victim called a second time to say the house was on fire. The home was fully engulfed in flames when crews arrived, and the occupants had gotten out safely. The 60-year-old was in an outbuilding on the property and surrendered to police. They face charges of arson and spousal assault. Ontario's Lieutenant Governor is in our region for the next 2 days as part of Francophonie Month. CTV's Eric Tashner has the details from Sturgeon Falls.
A handshake, a welcome to Ontario's Lieutenant Governor Edith Dumont. She's the first Lieutenant Governor to visit West Nipissing.
I think we're going to have fun.
Dumont is the first Franco-Ontarian Lieutenant Governor. Her visit surrounds deepening ties with the Northern Ontario community and celebrate the region's rich Francophone heritage and culture.
We can be proud as a Franco-Ontarian to be part of all our important institutions. So I'm proud of my province because diversity is a core value that we cherish.
The municipality of West Nipissing received the prestigious 2023 Lieutenant Governor's Award for its land use and development strategy.
We spoke about the north and the challenges here, and then we look forward to continuing those conversations.
Her visit comes during Francophonie Month. Dumont will visit several locations throughout Sturgeon Falls, including the West Nipissing Community Health Centre, multiple schools, and the Club Richelieu for the Francophone dinner.
It means a lot to us to have her there tomorrow, and we had no problem selling our tickets.
According to the 2021 population census, there are over 652,000 Francophones living in Ontario, with close to 60% of West Nipissing residents who use French as their mother tongue or primary language.
It's the visibility. It's also the recognition of our communities that are not necessarily centered in Ottawa or Toronto, that we are all over the province.
And she looks forward to leaving her mark on this community.
The Francophones are people that travel across Canada and Ontario.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
It's been a week since a huge snowstorm buried much of Northeastern Ontario. In Greater Sudbury, the city is continuing to clean up, but many sidewalks are still buried. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
For Andrew Clark, getting around Sudbury has become a bit of an obstacle course. Without a car, he relies on sidewalks that are still hidden under massive snowbanks. 1 week after the record-breaking 42 centimeters snowfall.
Donovan, where I live, is all right, but Yeah, it could be a lot better. Like downtown area, like there's mounds, like there's an elderly woman I just spoke to, and she's asking if the sidewalk was plowed over there, like so she can go to her appointment.
The city says last week's focus was strictly on safety, clearing emergency routes and cutting down snowbanks to improve visibility. Now that priority has shifted to students. Crews are currently pivoting to sidewalks around local schools before eventually moving on to major roadways.
We needed to focus on widening the roads because inevitably we plow from the middle of the road out, so the snow from the road was going into the sidewalks, and now we're moving that snow out of the sidewalk.
Rocca says there is no firm timeline for when every neighborhood will be clear, but says the city is using all of their available resources.
We're up to over 160 pieces of equipment deployed throughout the community. When you compare that to a typical storm response where we have 80, it gives you some perspective that we have really ramped up what we're using to try to get this snow out of the way and get people moving again.
With many sidewalks still buried and snowbanks blocking sight lines, Sudbury police are reminding motorists to stay vigilant as pedestrians are forced to share the road. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Let's talk about the weather on this Monday. Sunshine, but still on the cool side for this time of year. With more on what we can expect over the next little while, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Tony, we've got flurries in the forecast for tomorrow, so how does that grab you right now? Just a week ago, we had a deluge of snow and ice. Tomorrow, we've got flurries, so it's ever-changing. Lots of sunshine today, some warmer temperatures. Our systems map, courtesy of Environment Canada. Let's have a look right now. That system moving in by tomorrow, anywhere from 2 to 4 centimeters in the forecast. We'll take a look at that, of course, in our 7-day outlook. And again, we've got a pick of the day. You'll love the pick of the day. Some great shots taken out in field by one of our faithful viewers, and a lot more all coming up a little bit later on. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. School buses are not running in Greater Sudbury. Still to come on CTV News at 6. When are they expected to be back on the pavement? First, though, we're heading to downtown Timmins. This live webcam is courtesy of the city. It's -4 degrees. We will return after this commercial break.
Pure Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
March break is now over, and for many students in Greater Sudbury who rely on school buses for transportation, getting to class was a real challenge today. CTV's Madison Merrier tells us more.
Many cars were pulling out of school parking lots today, and according to Guardians we spoke to, pickup and drop-off was busier than normal.
Considering the road conditions, it's better off if they take some time off. I'm hoping that the roads will be cleared anytime soon, and then they can return to the roads. Yeah, it's for the safety of our kids, the drivers, and everyone.
Life presents itself with challenges which are beyond our control, and when they come up, you just have to find a way to go about them. So I think this week or next week, we'll just find a way to go about it, and I'm sure things will pick up and everything will come back to normal.
Parents we spoke to didn't seem to mind in the short term, and the consortium said tomorrow U-Rides will be in operation for students with special accommodations. However, the buses will take longer.
We have to individually look at all of those runs and determine, which stops can be done, which stops can be maybe amalgamated with other existing stops. So it is a massive undertaking for our group of, we're only 11 here at the consortium.
The consortium and the city have been in communication, and many of the school zone's roads and sidewalks have been plowed, with the goal of work being completed by tomorrow.
We did open up school zones or areas in front of all schools over the last few days. Those were all completed yesterday. So we created an area near every school that was a little bit wider.
All of our buses are 40 foot in length, and they have a tail swing and they have a side range that they must have in order to turn or to travel on roads. And right now we do not have that, so the roads cannot accommodate the buses. Some roads can.
The consortium says they will be in communication with parents and provide updates as they become available on the M Transport app.
We transport the most precious cargo, so that our children are very important to everyone, and so we need to make sure that we keep them safe.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
To Sault Ste. Marie now, where today marks the final day on the job site for many Algoma Steel employees. CTV's Corey Nordstrom spoke with employees as they prepare for the future while the city looks towards a project to bring jobs back to the city.
Hundreds of Algoma Steel employees had their final shift over the last 4 days, part of the 1,000 job cuts related to the company's early switch to electric steelmaking. Today, dozens took part in sessions to learn more about employment insurance.
I don't know if I'm going to get called back. I don't know if I'm going to go back to school, so at least get this on the go. I mean, if I stay on unemployment for a couple months, maybe I get something sooner than that. Just kind of get the ball rolling, at least set myself up for what's coming next, and then go from there.
Workers like Prevo are also stressed that their former colleagues are now competitors in the job market.
There was, from the one union, there's 900 people laid off and 150 from the other. Yeah, that's a lot of people you're competing against for a handful, I mean, maybe a little more than a handful of jobs, but there's only so many mines out there that are only going to hire so many people, and some people aren't going to get them.
The Port of Sault Ste. Marie is one way that City Council hopes to bring back jobs to the community. If the project receives funding from upper levels of government, it could operate over 2,400 jobs when fully functional in a few years' time.
The construction jobs would be 1,400 to 1,800 depending on when the work was being undertaken almost immediately, and so that would be a good bridge for those 1,000 workers that are being laid off in the short term if they were interested in construction style jobs for the port.
With those levels of government investing hundreds of millions of dollars into the company's transition to the electric arc furnace, Shoemaker says it's right that they be part of a solution to find those 1,000 workers a suitable job in a project that he believes will contribute to the region and country.
Federal government, provincial government can't simply allow that transition to see those jobs evaporate. It will not have been a success if that happens.
The city has already submitted funding applications for the port project and hope to hear back shortly after the April deadline. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A natural gas leak forced the relocation of students from Greater Sudbury's Confederation Secondary School in Balcarron this morning. The school board says staff greeted students as they arrived and they were relocated to nearby École Jean-Paul II while the source of the gas was determined. The gas was turned off, contractors called in, and Greater Sudbury Fire Services were also on site conducting air quality testing. Just after 10 a.m., students returned to school after fire services deemed it was safe. The city confirms Enbridge has concluded the cause was a ruptured gas line on the roof due to ice buildup. The school is being heated by boilers during the repairs. Snow load is to blame for a building collapse in the commercial district in Kapuskasing. No one was injured. The vacant building is on Byng Street. The town was forced to evacuate almost 24 commercial and residential buildings between Queen Street and Riverside Drive because the collapse caused the gas leak. Most have been allowed back, with the exception of one apartment complex next to the impacted building. You can see in this picture the roof collapsed in on itself. The mayor says the building, which was to be converted into apartments, is now a total loss.
Just the result of the overabundance of snow that we received this winter. I mean, you're seeing it everywhere because I think we're going to see a lot more happen, especially when it starts to melt and the weight of that snow and ice. It's a lot more than what we're used to.
The mayor is reassuring Kapuskasing residents that town facilities are checked over by an engineer regularly and are safe. As the cleanup efforts continue in Greater Sudbury, city officials have initiated a parking ban on all municipal roads until further notice. The city says with all roads having received at least a first pass, crews have shifted to clearing laneways and cul-de-sacs along with widening roads. Efforts can be delayed with cars parked on municipal roads, so there's a 24/7 ban on all spaces except for paid parking until the significant weather event declaration is lifted. The city also extending the suspension of roadside collection of garbage, green cart, organics, and blue box recyclables for another week. Garbage will now be the weeks of March 30th and April 6th. Green cart and blue box will be on March 30th. Yellow box recycling carts will be March 30th and April 6th. Landfills and recycling centers will be open tomorrow for commercial use and will be open to the public Thursday. All this snow has certainly made some folks happy. Ski hills in Sudbury say they're extending their season. Normally, the city's slopes would shut down this Sunday, but with the extra snowfall, both Adanac and Lively ski hills will remain open until the end of March. Back now for a check on your current conditions with Rick.
Okay, as we gear up for our current temperatures, not a bad night in Northeastern Ontario. Forecast radar calling for some flurry action for tomorrow. We'll get to those conditions in our 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes, but check out some of the temperatures across the Northeast. Let's begin in balmy Moosonee, -1 with the sunshine. Not normally this warm right now. Mainly sunny Cochrane, -2, -5 in Timmins. Sunny skies, mainly sunny in Cap at -4. How about Chapleau? Sunshine -3, Wawa -3, Sault Ste. Marie -3 as well. And in Parry Sound, mainly cloudy at +1 this hour. In North Bay, we've got -3, sunny skies. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. A couple of -4 readings in temperatures for Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Greater Sudbury, mainly sunny -3. Espanola -3, sunny skies. Mainly sunny Elliott Lake -4. And Gore Bay -2 with the sunshine. Tony, your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Thanks, Rick. MPPs return to Queen's Park today. Next on CTV News at 6. It's been more than 100 days since the Ontario government met in the legislature. And the province is promising more enforcement on Highways 11 and 17. Investigations are underway after 2 pilots were killed in a crash between an Air Canada Express jet and a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport in New York. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin has the latest.
Parts of the mangled cockpit hang from the Air Canada Express wreckage as investigators piece together the cause of the collision.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
The Ontario government. The Ontario government is taking action to improve. Parts of the mangled cockpit hang from the Air Canada Express wreckage as investigators piece together the cause of the collision.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Chilling audio from the air control tower reveals some of the communications leading up to the crash and its horrifying aftermath.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
At around 11:40 p.m. Sunday, a Port Authority fire truck is responding to another emergency. Another plane reporting odor in the cabin.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Stop, Truck 1. Stop. Stop, Truck 1. Stop.
The CRJ 900, operated by Jazz Aviation, landing at LaGuardia, smashes nose first into the truck of the airport's runway 4.
Sadly, the 2 pilots are confirmed deceased, and notifications are being made by Air Canada's care team at this time.
One of those pilots was Antoine Forêt from Coteau-du-Lac, Quebec. A flight attendant was found nearly 100 meters from the plane, still strapped in her jump seat that was ripped from the airplane. CTV News has confirmed that her name is Solange Tremblay and that she was undergoing surgery.
We're fully supporting the relevant investigative authorities in their investigation to learn everything we can about these events.
Dozens of passengers were treated and released, but others are in serious condition in hospital.
Everybody's screaming. Pretty quickly, we didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been destroyed. So
he smashed his face into the seat in front of him, broke his glasses.
Sarah Dorner's husband, a professor at Montreal's Polytechnic Institute, was on board.
He smelled gas, so he was encouraging people to just slide down, go down the wing. He was there to catch them.
Canada's National Transportation Safety Board has also dispatched a team of investigators to assist in the probe. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
And CTV has since confirmed Mackenzie Gunther, who was the co-pilot, also died in the crash, and we apologize for those technical problems. MPPs returned to Queen's Park today for the first time since December, and the spring session is getting off to a busy start. The Ford government is set to table its budget Thursday, while also facing criticism over a bill to restrict freedom of information access. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more.
For the first time in 102 days, MPPs from across Ontario are back in the halls of Queen's Park. The opposition making noise about an overhaul of freedom of information laws that will put the Premier's cell phone records out of reach.
They are taking us backwards, Speaker, in accountability and transparency. So I would ask the Premier to explain why is his government taking away the people's right to see how decisions are made and who is benefiting.
I'll tell you what's inside these phone calls.
Doug Ford has been clear. Blocking access to his phone is behind the changes. They come after the courts found he had to turn records over. He maintains Ontario is just getting in line with Ottawa.
There's two groups that are concerned about it. It's the opposition that they should talk to their federal partners, and the media. Everyone else is focused on something else.
The Green Party leader calls the Premier's justification
hogwash.
New Democrats tried to use a speaker's warrant to compel the Premier to share his records, but it's a move that goes nowhere. The ask is non-binding.
It's not my decision. I act on behalf of the House, and if the House directs me to issue a warrant, then I would.
Liberals argue the Premier's trying to duck accountability on other fronts.
After 8 long years, does the Premier really think he can hide from his record of making life harder for Ontario families?
Fraser pointed to the front lawn of Queen's Park as evidence. Parents of kids with autism pleading for more supports at home and at school. Without enough classroom help, this mom has had to quit her job to stay home with her son.
They have to do better. This is a never-ending fight, and that I'm trying to get Owen into a specialized classroom in the fall, but we're facing barriers, red tape.
The education minister says he empathizes.
We're going to make sure that we continue on this mission of revamping and re-energizing our school system so that it is the absolute best.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The provincial government is increasing enforcement to enhance safety across northern highways. CTV's Lindsay Ellen tells us more.
The Ontario government is taking action to improve safety on the Highway 1117 corridor. The Minister of Transportation says Highways 11 and 17 are lifelines for Northern Ontario, and we're making them safer and more reliable by cracking down on dangerous driving, strengthening enforcement, and investing in new safety measures that keep people and goods moving. Here is a look at some of the improvements: increasing the number of transportation enforcement officers, expanding enforcement blitzes, deploying 2 mobile inspection support units, launching procurement in spring 2026 to rebuild the Hearst Truck Inspection Station, improving and upgrading highway signage, and advancing preliminary design work to expand Highway 1117.
It's going to take a long time to actually bring that highway up to a modern standard. I get that, and it's going to cost a lot of money. But there are things that we can do immediately that will save people's lives.
Vantoff introduced a private member's motion to declare the modernization and expansion of Highway 1117 a project of provincial significance at Queen's Park today.
Prime Minister Carney asked the premiers to come up with projects of national significance that would help the country. We face a very, tumultuous time, and we can't think of a better one.
Other improvements include upgrading the provincial rest area network to include more year-round truck parking, as well as continuing to work with groups like the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities.
I think we have to keep the focus on the upgrade of both those highways, as we recognize that they're just not built for today's standards.
In 2025-26, Ontario is investing nearly $583 million through the Northern Highways program, including $481 million for rehabilitation projects and almost $102 million for expansion projects. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Quebec's controversial secularism law is before Canada's highest court today. The Supreme Court has set aside 4 days of hearings into Bill 21. Adopted in 2019, the legislation prevents public sector workers in positions of power, such as police officers, teachers, and judges, from wearing religious symbols like headscarves in the workplace. The High Court will listen to arguments on the legislation and the Quebec government's preemptive use of the notwithstanding clause. The English Montreal School Board is one of the challengers to Bill 21. It claims it has evidence Muslim women will be affected by the bill.
We're here because Muslim women are not second-class citizens. We're here because Muslim women who choose to teach should not have to choose or be forced to choose between her conscience and her career. We're here because as school boards, we should have the right to hire the teachers that we deem qualified without arbitrary restrictions like whether someone chooses or not to wear a religious symbol. A restriction that has no bearing on the quality of education that students receive in the classroom.
The English Montreal School Board also claims many Muslim women are discouraged from applying for positions because of Bill 21. All right, there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Okay, Tony, some flurries rolling into Northeastern Ontario. We had loads of sunshine for today. The temperatures, not too bad, a little bit of melting going on. Of course, we could see the potholes galore across Greater Sudbury, and I'm sure a lot of drivers, a lot of motorists, as we heard, have experienced pothole problems across the entire Northeast. So hopefully that'll get remedied sooner than later. Forecast radar, we've got this system moving in. Flurries tomorrow, 2 centimeters, maybe 2 or 4 centimeters. Then yet another system moving in by about Wednesday, and more to the south, more precipitation, some rain, wet snow, and of course, just a mixture of precipitation to annoy drivers driving home that night. Overnight conditions clouding over Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie becoming cloudy. Flurries in Timmins, Timiskaming Shores clear and clearing in North Bay. How about Moosonee? We've got flurries there. Flurries a couple of centimeters in Cap and Hearst. Wawa, the outstanding community of Wawa, flurries 5 to 10 centimeters overnight with the flurry activity. Corbeil, clearing skies, and Parry Sound, some clearing. Now the 7-day numbers, here we go. Tomorrow, 2 centimeters in Greater Sudbury. Flurries, of course, -1 your high. Chance of snow Wednesday, snow or rain Thursday. Sunshine returns Friday, that high pressure system -7. Chance of flurries Saturday and chance of sleet on Sunday. But those temperatures, daytime highs, not too bad. Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma, flurries 2 to 4 centimeters tomorrow, 2 degrees your high. Chance of snow Wednesday, Thursday, chance of sleet. It's a 50-50 proposition. Friday, we've got mainly sunny skies, and Saturday, chance of flurries and sleet on Sunday. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, flurries tomorrow, 2 to 4 centimeters. Periods of snow Wednesday, chance of snow Thursday, sun and cloud Friday, chance of flurries both days on Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, in Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, some flurry activity tomorrow, 2 to 4 centimeters. Periods of snow Wednesday, Thursday, sunny skies Friday, -7 your high. Chance of flurries Saturday, and the chance of sleet on Sunday with a daytime high of 0. That's not too bad. How about North Bay, West Nipissing? Flurries tomorrow, 2 centimeters. Chance of snow Wednesday. Sleet, rain or snow, take your pick on Thursday. Friday, sunny skies. Saturday, chance of flurries and the chance of sleet at 30% with a daytime high of 1. Let's roll the pick of the day today. One of my faves. And Diane Tremblay from Field showing off a couple of links. Take a look at the trailing links with that look. That's a hungry lynx right now, if I ever saw one. Hey, stick around. We've got more news coming up right after the break with Tony.
It's an ongoing problem coast to coast to coast. Thefts are on the rise for Pokemon cards. As CTV's Andrew Johnson explains, the thefts are hurting small business and can be difficult to investigate.
Even at $1 a card, that's a pretty solid value.
Business is brisk at Jesse Guyon's New Westminster, BC collectibles shop, but the bartering is taking place behind bars after what happened in January.
Even watching it back now is just infuriating.
Watching this, 4 hooded thieves bashing their way into his store and making off with as many Pokemon cards as they could carry.
In a matter of a few minutes, they left with 20 grand worth of stuff. It's devastating as a small business owner, especially.
Guyon is unfortunately not alone. Thieves used a car to bust their way into an Abbotsford shop, leaving 2.5 minutes later with $30,000 in product, mostly Pokemon. A few days later, this was the scene in Burnaby after a 2:30 a.m. smash job, the third break-in here in 6 months.
You work really hard to, bring your dream to life, but then, hear people trying to take away your livelihood.
Stores have also been hit from Halifax to Toronto. In New York, armed thieves went in during the day, part of a Pokemon problem coinciding with a post-COVID popularity boom and soaring card values.
$3,400 is about market price of what this card goes for.
Police say once stolen, they're easy to sell and hard for investigators to find.
Very difficult to track that type of merchandise. Certainly more difficult than something traditional like, say, electronics.
Police are recommending small business owners running a shop like this reach out and have officers come by to sweep the store and make some recommendations to increase security, even on a budget.
Something as simple as increased lighting, trimming back hedges.
This goes across the whole frame of the shop.
Besides the bars, Jesse Guyon's also added 24/7 security surveillance at his store.
We're definitely pretty confident now.
And able to focus on the collectibles that are his passion. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, New Westminster, BC.
It's tax time, and one of the most common mistakes Canadians can make right now is relying on Google for answers. That's according to tax expert and chartered professional accountant Mike Jacobo, who tells CTV News while it can be correct sometimes, in other cases the internet can provide you something based on U.S. tax law. There's a few other new changes this year. Partway through the year, the lowest tax bracket also dropped to 14%. It means Canadians would have likely seen their checks were perhaps a little higher. There's also the issue of tax scams.
Everybody has to file a tax return every year. It's the law, but it is important for everybody because especially if you have very little income, there are credits that are available to you that only come to you if you do file your tax return.
This year's deadline is April 30th. Self-employed Canadians, June 15th. We'll post more of Jacobo's tips to our website, CTV News NorthernOntario.ca. Next year, Netflix will have been streaming content for 20 years, and now there are many other popular services such as Amazon Prime, Crave, and Disney+. A new survey finds households that pay for streaming average nearly 3 subscriptions each, but how much they cost is a growing concern. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Streaming price hikes have become so common they've earned a nickname, streamflation. Rising fees can add up quickly, especially if you have multiple services.
I have about 5. It has gone up, and we try to keep a budget.
If you don't keep track, you may not know how much you're spending each month.
I have to look at my bill, so don't know yet.
According to the Couch Potato Report, there are 55 streaming services in Canada, and last year revenue increased 15% to $4.8 billion. This year, the revenue forecast is 11.5% growth, with expected revenue of $5.35 billion. Consumer Reports' Jim Wilcox was shocked when he checked his statements and found he was paying about $1,000 a year for TV services.
The cost has really creeped up on a lot of people, and it's probably one reason that a lot of people don't understand how much they're really paying.
The top 10 providers hiked prices last year by an average of 7%. It's why more Canadians are now streaming services with ads, as it costs 42% less. If you're willing to watch commercials, consider switching to a lower-priced ad-supported tier available on many streaming services. To save money, you can also check your subscriptions, your apps and credit card bills, and cancel services you aren't using. There are also free streaming options such as Pluto and Tubi. Crave, which is owned by Bell Media, the parent company of CTV, saw a 26% increase over last year, due in part to programs like Heated Rivalry. If there are shows you can't afford to miss, Wilcox says you can also consider a strategy called service hopping.
You sign up for a service, you binge everything you can for a month or so, and then cancel that service and then jump to another one.
You may want to put a reminder on your phone to cancel the service so you're not paying after your binge is over. For many households, streaming is the new normal, and those that pay for streaming services have an average of almost 3 subscriptions each. Pat Foran, CTV News.
The municipality of West Nipissing is putting its former visitor center up for sale. Council has deemed the property in Sturgeon Falls surplus, and the building has been listed for sale with a reserve bid at $900,000. The property is about 0.8 hectares in size and has approximately 300 feet of frontage on Highway 17. The building was constructed in 1996, and right now there is one tenant in the space.
When you look at the cost of holding and operating that facility and the fact that it's not serving the needs of residents, council felt that the best choice in this situation was to look for a buyer.
For April 15th at 2 p.m. and the bid closing date is April 29th at 2 p.m. Canadian crime thriller. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. We speak with the director of a film that is set to debut in Sudbury later this week.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
It's a film that made its world premiere last year at the Toronto International Film Festival, and this week, Sudbury Indie Cinema is rolling out the movie Nika and Madison. The director of the film, Eva Thomas, now joins us from Wallaceburg. Hi there, Eva.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, give our viewers a little synopsis of the movie.
Yeah, Nika and Madison is about two Indigenous women who have an encounter with law enforcement, and then they go on the run. So we go on the journey with them.
And does this film show the danger and injustice that exists for Indigenous peoples?
Yes, that's certainly at the heart of some of the themes in the film. I really wanted to say something about the place where Indigenous people meet law enforcement. And for a lot of people, the police seem like a safe place, but sometimes for Indigenous people, they're really not. So those are some of the themes that I tease out in the film.
Tell us about the locations. It was filmed in Ontario. I saw Toronto and other parts of the province, I guess.
Well, we shot the film in the Greater Toronto area, the GTA. Some of it down there in Toronto. We also shot in Vaughan, which is just north of of Toronto. And we had a lovely family who had a huge farm and a few houses on that farm, and they graciously allowed us to film in their home and open up their hearts to us at a very good rate. And I think it's because they just believed in the project and they believed in what we were addressing in the film.
What kind of message did you want to leave audiences by making this film?
Yeah, as a filmmaker, as an artist, I really want to use film as a way to create empathy. And I wanted to tell a story about two strong Indigenous women who had agency, who weren't just victims of the system. And that we would go on a journey in the film with this so that the audience could learn to understand, to care about them, to root for them, and maybe create some empathy in these characters. That's certainly part of what my vision was for the film.
You talked about those characters. From what I've seen, anyway, from the movie trailer, this movie also displays the deep trust that exists among Indigenous friends.
Yes, that's, there's certainly a crime and there's a crime element, but I think the heart of the movie is the relationship between these two women. They grew up together, they have, a long history, and they kind of have a bit of a rift in their relationship, and they've been apart for some time. So Nika is the res girl, and Madison has gone off to the city, and so she's a bit of the city girl, and we get to take both of these characters and put them in their, out of their comfort zone. So we take Madison, who's a city girl, and we put her in the res and then into the bush, and then we take Nika, who's the res girl, and we take her into the city, and we get to really see that both of these lifestyles, both of these worlds have something valuable to offer in our experience in the world.
Eva, thanks so much for your time and continued success.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Eva Thomas was our guest, and to learn more about the film, head to SudburyIndieCinema.com. In sports, the North Bay Trappers are headed to provincials. That was the on-ice celebration after the U18 AAA Trappers won 5-4 against the Sioux Greyhounds in Uliskerd last weekend. William Fournier netted the game winner with less than 3 minutes left on the clock. The Trappers had an exceptional season, posting a record of 41 wins and only 1 loss in the regular season, and went undefeated in playoff action. The team is headed to the OHF Championships in Markham next week. It's being hailed as welcome news in Elliott Lake and long overdue for hockey lovers in the city. As we announced last week, the city's Vikings are making a return. The Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League making the announcement Thursday that it reinstated the club. It's been a year and a half since the team's disappearance from the league. They'll return for the 2026-27 season. The team's president says it's been sad to drive past the arena and see it boarded up. Crews have been working year-round to make this happen.
For myself, not only myself, but the whole town of Elliott Lake. And like I said, the minor hockey, the figure skating, the fans of hockey, men's league. It's, our pool just recently opened up. So there's been a lot of hardship in the last couple of years with facilities being down. But come September 1st, we're ready to go.
The arena is slated to reopen this summer following lengthy repairs and renovations. And the playoffs are well underway in the NOJHL. Here's where everyone sits after the opening weekend of the postseason. The Sudbury Cubs are up 2-0 over the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. After 2 games at home, the series heads to Kirkland Lake tonight at 7. The 7th place Sioux Eagles disappointed Powassan Voodoo's fans, getting 2 wins on the road. That series heads to Michigan tomorrow night. The Hearst Lumberjacks up 2-0 over the Espanola Paper Kings. The Paper Kings will host the next 2 games starting Tuesday. And the only tied series is the Timmins Rock versus the Sioux Thunderbirds. That series is headed back to Sault Ste. Marie on Tuesday as well. The regular season ended yesterday in the OHL. All 3 northern teams will begin their playoff series later this week. The Peterborough Petes managed to hang on to home ice advantage this weekend, which means North Bay will start their playoff run on the road Thursday night. The 8th place Sudbury Wolves will take on the 1st place Brantford Bulldogs in round 1. That series starts Friday. And in the Western Conference, the Sioux Greyhounds went into the weekend just 1 point back of the London Knights. Unfortunately, they finished the weekend where they started. They'll hit the road for Game 1 in London Friday. At a city council meeting tonight in Sault Ste. Marie, councillors will vote on a new agreement with the Sioux Greyhounds. The Hounds are the primary tenant at GFL Memorial Gardens and haven't signed a new agreement with the city in 20 years. The proposed deal formalizes current ticketing practice and increasing the city's cut of playoff ticket revenue to 10%. You can read more about the proposed agreement on our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Music and movie news now. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Report.
The long-awaited new BTS album is already breaking records. Arirang is Spotify's most streamed album in a day so far this year, and the platform's most streamed K-pop album ever. It's the group's first full-length album since 2020.
There are infinite possibilities for this to go wrong.
But it didn't. Project Hail Mary had a huge opening weekend, and it's getting strong reviews from critics and moviegoers alike. Star Ryan Gosling gives a lot of the credit to directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
I think what Chris and Phil are uniquely good at is that they can elicit the coveted laugh cry. So they make you laugh, they make you cry, they make you laugh, they make you cry, and then they just start staggering them to the point where by the end of the movie you're like, I'll just do both. I'll just laugh and cry at the same time. It's easier.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
North American markets rebounded today after the U.S. president said Washington has talked to Iran about a possible end to the war. BNN Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more.
The news sent the price of oil into free fall after 3 weeks of climbing higher. At the start of the day, West Texas Intermediate sank more than $10 U.S. a barrel. Energy stocks have been spiking with the key oil shipping route paralyzed by the conflict. Donald Trump says he will postpone hitting Iran's energy infrastructure for 5 days to allow for negotiations. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.86. West Texas Intermediate dropped over $10 to 88.13. Western Canadian Select is up to 81.91, and the TSX gained 566 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is down $82.54, closing the day at $44.0908 US an ounce. Silver is up $1.21. Copper moved forward 21 cents, and nickel is down a nickel, ending the day at $7.53 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
Flurries in the forecast, Tony. Let's begin with Sudbury Nickel Belt. A couple of centimeters of flurry activity. -1 the expected high. Timmins -3, 2 to 4 centimeters. Sault Ste. Marie, 2 degrees for tomorrow, 2 to 4 centimeters as well. Let's move on over now to North Bay. -2, a couple of centimeters. Flurry activity in Parry Sound. No big accumulation of any significance. 1 degree your expected high, and 1 in Temiskaming Shores, 2 to 4 centimeters. Also periods of snow cropping in, Tony, Wednesday and in some cases Thursday. We'll check that out tomorrow and give you some exact numbers. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. And finally, remember that big snowstorm a week ago? Winona of Elliott Lake sent us this video of her daughter, a registered nurse, who was trying to walk down her snow-covered street to get a ride to get to work at the local hospital in Elliott Lake. She made it to the vehicle. Now, folks, that's dedication. And that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night, everybody.